Chase Thomas Morning Blend. If you haven't heard of it, everybody's heard of it. Everybody wants to see it. It's a grizzly bear on steroids. We're talking about the cocaine bear. Janelle and I got to see it. But before we start talking about it, Tony hasn't seen it yet. So what's the excitement in the trailers? What makes you want to go see this?
Well, I want to call it original idea, even though it's loosely based on a true story. But it's something different. And I'm excited to see Elizabeth Banks doesn't really do procedural films, so I'm excited to see her little take on this. It's got an interesting cast as well, but it just looks like something different and something that should be at least seen because we don't want to see the same blueprint of film over and over and over again. So I'm excited to hear your guys' take on it.
Okay, Janelle, I'm gonna let you go first.
It was a 90-minute experience of bloody goofiness. Not in a bad way, just it's kind of undescribable to be honest. It is very loosely based on the true story because the true story, the bear, I believe, only lived 11 minutes and was found dead in the forest with a belly full of cocaine. They took that little blurb and created a whole life that this bear led. It does have a great cast though. Some of them, I will be honest, are almost unrecognizable. I remember leaning over to my daughter at one point and was like, "Is this so and so from the show?" And it's Jesse Tyler Ferguson from Modern Family. Only recognized him by his voice. For those of us who dabble online a lot, and the comedian Scott Seiss, who does a lot of retail comedy and IKEA comedy, we will know him. He's in the show or in the movie. It is a cast of characters. It really is. And I will say it does. It also highlights St. Louis, like local haunts like St. Louis Dive Bar.
Yes.
So there is a clear reason why it was screened the Alamo Drafthouse for us last night. So it does mention St. Louis a lot. No. So yeah, it's an experience. It's a zany, wacky experience. I will say I was a little nervous considering the last Elizabeth Banks movie we had seen was, I believe, Charlie's Angels, and that was just not good. So I was a little hesitant going into this one. I think she nailed this one. I think she nailed it exactly as what you want it to be.
Yeah. I think it came out at me, and I don't mean to jump in right quick, but I think it came out of me in the opening credits when I saw Jurassic Party as one of the producers of this movie. I was screaming. I was like, you got to be kidding me. And then when they opened up with everything, the opening scene, I'm sorry, that was ridiculous. That was funny. The guy in the airplane, I'm not gonna spoil it for anybody, but the guy in the airplane, I thought it was so dumb. And then what was interesting to me, she's the director, Elizabeth Banks in it, and of course Phil Lord, Christopher Miller, and the people you had also mentioned, Jesse Tyler Ferguson, Alden Ehrenreich, if I can say it right. I like him. He was. I remember him in one of the very first movies, which was the second version of The Thing, not with the right after. Who was in that? The Thing, but he was in that. He was one of the ones that got killed. He was one of the Swedes that was in that, and I like this guy. He's been in a couple of other movies. Kerry Russell, O'Shea Jackson was very good. Ray Liotta,
Han Solo, our new Han Solo that we have.
Yeah.
In the Han Solo movie.
Yeah.
Tormund from Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
It's the characters.
Yeah, he's good. So, and it was very interesting. This is one of the last few films, one or two films of Ray Liotta. That was interesting to see him in there with the long hair and everything. The bear, the guy that played the bear, I think it's interesting how they're doing special effects now. All this from the brand new Planet of the Apes, but this guy who played the bear, man, that was fun. That's fun to see. And that final scene when they look in the camera and all of them had that expression on their face. That was worth it. That was really worth it. You're right. It's great to see on the big screen. I really enjoyed the Alamo. If you haven't been to the Alamo, you've got to go to the Alamo. It's right there in the Foundry in that particular area, right across some SLU dorms. It's an amazing theater, amazing service. Would you say that too, Janelle?
Oh yeah, it's impressive.
Yeah, it's very impressive. So I'm going to go with it. I'm going to give it 4.5 out of 5. Janelle?
Give it about a 3.5 out of 5. I mean, it still is, it still has that cheese factor where I'm not gonna put it up there with like the greats of all time. I think you gotta put it where it should be.
Right.
It's a great B movie. It is a top tier B movie. It is Violent Night if Santa was on crack. I mean, it's
I like the Santa Claus movie. That was actually good too. So 3.5, 4.5, say a 4.
3.5. I think it needs to be where it's at. I don't think it needs to be up by
3.75.
I don't think we need to be ranking it towards like Creed.
3.75. We'll settle at 3.75. Is that okay?
Okay. Like a good B plus ish.
Okay. All right, folks, there you have it. We just talked about Cocaine Bear. I was hilarious, especially the bear sniffing the cocaine. That was kind of funny. Oh man. Thank you for watching Morning Blend. We'll see you next week.